Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesigntechtips.com. Well, we got a fun one for you today. If I scroll down here, we've got a little black section with a button that's animating in there. And that's going to get people's attention pretty quickly. Of course, they can click on it, take them where they want to go. And if I roll down a little bit more, it's going to stick to the top just under the menu there. And it's going to stay there. I've got mine programmed to stay there until the end of this section just coming up here. So when I get past that image, it's going to disappear back up the top. And if we roll back in, it's going to do the opposite right there. When it gets back to position, it's going to go back down again. But that's a nice little attention grabbing button if you've got a sale on or you've got something going on. You want to get it noticed. Here's an easy way of doing it. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the visual builder. Once enabled, I'm going to go down. I'm going to get rid of my little row I've got going on here, and we'll start from scratch. Okay, I'm going to put it in the same place. I've got two sections here, the hero section at the top, another one underneath. I'm actually going to go to back-end mode so I can see what's going on and it'll look a bit easier. I'm going to go to my purple button. I'm going to go to wireframe view right here. I call it back-end mode. It's how we used to edit back in the day. There's our hero section. Here's our next section. I want to put mine in this section so I can just have it sticking for this section. But this is entirely up to you. So I'm going to add a new row. I'm going to make it a single column. Inside, I'm going to throw a button. And there it is right here. I'm just going to move it up to the top. Great. Let's go back to our desktop view now. Or whichever mode you like to edit in. And of course, this will work just as well on tablet and mobile. There's our button. Here's our little section here. I want to make this section full width. Here's our little row right here. I want to make our row full width. Let's click on it. Green tab for the row. Just so you can see what's going on. Let's give it a background. I'm going to give mine a black background. Background is always under content. At the moment, our row stops here and here. I want it to go full width. So while in the row, we can go to design and sizing. Go down to width, drag it up to 100%. And we can just type 100 and the percent sign in, max width down below. And we've now got a full width row. Fantastic. I don't want too much space between the row and the button right there. So still in the row, let's close up sizing. Go to spacing just down below. So maybe make that 5 pixels. Maybe a little tight. Put the same on the bottom. It's okay, don't want it too much going on there. Great, well let's go into our button now. Going to click on the button. Dark tab for the module right here, which is the button module. I want our button to be in the middle. So let's go over to design and alignment. And of course you can make it say whatever you want. Over in content we've got the text. Massive. Sale on today. Or whatever you want to say on yours, obviously. Put the link for your button in here. Always best practice, if you're linking to your own site, keep it in the same window. If you're going off-site somebody else's site, open it in a new tab. That way your site will stay open. Great. Now you can style that button any way you want over in design here. If we go down to button, just hit the use custom styles for button. I'm going to make mine pretty dramatic. I'm going to make my text white. I'm going to make the button background red. I'm going to make the border red also. I give it a bit of more of a border radius. Make that font a little bigger. I'm going to make it capitalized perhaps. With the icon, let's find a sale icon. That'll do, the two little tickets right there. I want it to be showing all the time. It's okay on the right there. So I'm going to turn that to no, so we got that there all the time. I'm going to add a bit of text shadow just to make that stand out a little bit more. But I want to widen up my button. So I'm happy with everything else that's going on there. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to go to spacing. With the button, padding is not going to push it down or up. It's actually going to make it wider or deeper. So left, let's try I'll try 15%. That'll probably be too much. Yeah, maybe a little too much when I put it on the right as well. Depends how big and annoying you want your button. Big and annoying is always a good thing with buttons. Let's maybe take that down to 10 because we've got the chain checked. It's doing both at once. Yep, that'll do fine. But I want this to come up. I want it to stick under our header up here. I want it to stay there till they get to the bottom of this last image right here. And then it can disappear. Or if you want to, you can keep it all the way to the bottom of the page. I'll show you how to do that too. So to make that happen, let's save our button settings here. I'm going to do it with the row that it's sitting in, the green tab for the row. I'm going to go over to Advanced. I'm going to go down to Scroll Effects. Do not stick. Left click. I'm going to say stick to top. Don't need any offset. I want it to be sticking right to the bottom of the header right there. Bottom sticky limit. Well, if I leave it like this, it's going to stay there all the way down the page. Which is, if you want to do that, that's fine. When it gets back to its position, it should jump back to where it was. So, yep. But I just want it to stay there for this section and this section, or actually those two rows, which are right there, which is within the same section. So I'm going to say bottom sticky limit section. Now if I roll down, when it gets to the bottom of this blue bit down here, it's going to disappear back up there. But of course, that's entirely up to you. Fantastic. And just to make it a little more annoying, or a little more attention grabbing, I should say, we're going to animate this button. So as you saw earlier, it scales in and scales out. So let's go back into our button. Going to hit the cog to go in there. Going to go over to my advanced. I'm going to go to custom CSS. In the freeform CSS tab, we can write a CSS animation. So to select our button, I'm going to say selector. Now I'm going to open and close some curly brackets, and we'll tell it what we want to do. Well, I want to animate it, so I'm going to say animation, colon. I'm going to give it a name. Let's call it button, BTN, WRD, button width, or button size, whatever you want to call yours. It wants to be unique though. I'm going to have mine running for, say, 10 seconds. I want it to keep going and going, so I'm going to say infinite. Great. Well, now we've done that, we need to create this animation that we call BTN wide there. So I'm going to drop down a couple. We're going to use keyframes to do this. If you watch my last couple of videos, we've been doing a few animations. Keyframes. So it's at keyframes. Then the name that we gave it, which is BT wide there. Now we can open and close some more curly brackets and tell it what we want it to do. Well, at 0%, or when the page loads, so I'm going to say 0%, we'll open and close some more curly brackets. I'm going to say transform scale, colon, scale, round brackets at the end with no gap. And I actually want it to be invisible. So that'll be scale 0, which will be no scale. So I'm just going to put a 0 in there. As you can see, it started doing its thing. Let's just copy this a couple of times. Now paste one in, I'm going to drop down, paste another one in. Let's just tidy them up. Second one, scale wise, I want it to be normal, which would be scale 1, normal size. And for the last one, and you'll see why in a moment, I'm going to change the percentages at the end. So 0%, nothing. 20%, I want it to be normal size. I want it to stay at normal size till we get to about 60%. Then at 70% and 100%, I want it to be at 0. So I'm going to put a comma. I'm going to put 70%. I'm going to put another comma and 100%. So it'll hold it at 0 for those settings right there. So as you can see, it's holding, disappearing. It's staying disappeared for a little bit, and it's coming back in. And you can change these settings if you want it to stay away for longer, or if you want it to be normal size for longer. We've got it 20 and 60 there. If you up this amount, 20 seconds, that'll be longer, obviously. Let's just change that for argument's sake to 15 seconds. And you'll see that things take a little longer, and you can adjust these to your taste there. And as usual, I'll put this code down below. Here's another little bit we can add. If you decide that you don't want it to keep animating when they put their mouse on it, we can put a little pause on there. I've done that for 50 seconds, not 15 seconds. It's going to stay there for an awful long time. Now, if you want it to not disappear out again while they put their mouse on it, like that, we can copy our selector up here to the first closing curly bracket there. Control-C to copy. We'll drop down. We'll paste it in there. Scroll down so you can see it. Right after the R selector with no gap, I'm going to put a colon. Then with no gap again, I'm going to put the word hover. And animation, I'm going to say none. That way, if they put the mouse on it now, it's going to stop animating. Take it off, it's going to reanimate. Put it on, it'll stop. Great. Well, as usual, I'll put that CSS code down below the video for anybody that needs to copy and paste it. Please feel free. Let's just make sure this is going to work on the front end. So we'll save everything here. Save draft or publish if you're ready. And let's exit the Visual Builder. We will roll on down. There's our little button right there. It's going to do its little animation out. It's going to stay out for a while. And it'll come back in. When we roll up the top, it's going to stick to this top. We can continue rolling down. It's still going to animate up there. When it gets to the bottom of this section here, it's going to disappear off the top again. And if we go back up, it's going to go back to where it was right there. Fantastic. And if we put our mouse over it, it's going to stop animating. They can read it. They can click on it if they need to. Take the mouse off. Does its own thing again. So there you go, guys. There's one really attention-grabbing button that you can stick to the top of your site. Really nice little feature. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you have any questions, pop them down below the video. Do my best to answer them for you, or make a little demo video just like this one. And if you make something with this today, drop us the link below the video. We'd love to take a look at it. It's always great seeing people's work. So once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.